This kid Estevao Willian is supposedly the best talent to have come out of Brazil since Neymar. And even though he's just 17 years old, he's producing displays that you would expect from a 23 or 24-year-old winger, not someone who's a teenager. It almost reminds me of the way Lamine Yamal exploded onto the scene for Spain and Barcelona, producing displays that you just don't expect from someone their age.
Yeah, and these performances are the reason why Chelsea spent 34 million euros on the young star last summer, but due to FIFA's rulings, he's actually unable to play until, well, when he turns 18, which is next month, which is why he joins the club in the summer.
He is the first player in Brazilian football history to register 30 goal contributions before turning 18.
That is
he
impressive.
broke the record that Neymar hold.
Yeah.
That's how good he is.
That's unbelievable.
And to put his price tag into perspective, Vinicius cost Real Madrid, I think, 40 million euros.
Yeah.
Endrick cost Real Madrid 47 or 47.5 million euros.
Yeah.
So for Chelsea to get a player who's deemed as better than both of them for even less than what Real Madrid paid for those two young talents from Brazil is remarkable business.
I agree.
And it could turn out to be one of, well, the bargains of the century. But is Estevao Willian a traditional winger, or does he have other positions that he adopts when playing on the pitch?
Well, I don't think he is just a winger. He's a very creative player, which is why you can play him in that 10 role, but he can also play it on both wings with that skill, with that flair that he has, and with that, well, that pace, that agility. He's unbelievable in all attacking positions. So Chelsea have got a very flexible man on their hands.
A bit like Cole Palmer in the way, because Cole Palmer is brilliant in the 10 and he's brilliant out wide. So although they may be different in terms of the way they play the game, in terms of their positional sense and
Very
where
similar.
they're best at, it's very similar. And plus the fact this raw technical ability that he has enables him to combine with teammates in tight spaces, and that helps, well, the team retain possession. And ultimately Chelsea's system is focused around keeping the ball. So in that way he would seem like a natural fit. Even though, although still at his age, he will still have the mindset of taking on his fullback,
of course,
trying to get around him. But obviously as he develops, he'll become more of a complete player, a player that can maybe adapt to different systems. Exactly. And to expand upon that, he's also very good at dropping into a deeper area to pick up the ball and play those line splitting passes from a different position to catch the defenders out, to make him harder to mark. And that also resembles Cole Palmer in many regards, because we do see Cole Palmer for Chelsea drop deep to pick up the ball and try and dictate play from there. So there are a lot of similarities between the two, and that will excite a lot of Chelsea fans, because
of course,
if he produces somewhat of the displays that Palmer has done for Chelsea,
even just half the displays,
exactly, it'll please many fans in London.
But unlike a lot of young players, he actually has an attribute that not many of them have.
No, and that is the ability to be proficient at set pieces. He's a fantastic penalty taker and a brilliant free kick taker too, and to have the courage to take those on at that age is unbelievable. Yes, he's more talented than his teammates, but still, to have the courage to step up and take penalties and free kicks in high pressure scenarios
you don't see that often either.
One of the biggest teams in Brazil is more than admirable. And it's, well, very similar to the way that Cole Palmer turned up at Chelsea and started taking their free kicks and their penalties straight away at such a young age in such a high pressure environment. So to conclude, there's no denying that this man right here is one of the hottest properties in world football at the moment. But the question is, can he succeed in the Premier League at Chelsea?
Well, his journey's been nothing short of successful, really. I mean, hence why he's got the comparisons to Cole Palmer by us, but also Neymar in the media. But he does have a Ballon d'Or clause in his contract for a reason, because he's an absolute special talent. And I do think he is the man to take Chelsea forward and take them to those titles, those big trophies that they are desperately hoping for.
I know Chelsea probably do need to rectify their defence before they really compete for the major honours, but do you think alongside Cole Palmer up top, he could be that sort of difference in those crunch games? A bit like how every top team that maybe wins a trophy has two really standout goal scorers or creators. Like Liverpool had Salah and Mane scoring the goals. When City won the treble, it was De Bruyne and Haaland. You look back over the years, Lampard and Drogba, Omri and Bergkamp, sort of those two star players up top. And do you think he is on that sort of calibre and could be that sort of player to partner Palmer?
I think in a couple, well, not even a couple, well, actually in a couple of years' time, I do think we could be looking at these two as not only the best duo in the league at the time, but also for the history books, because they are absolutely fantastic, both of them. We've seen Cole Palmer turns up at the big moments, and we've already seen that he can turn up in the big moments. I know it's on a shorter stage, but I do think he can clearly show that he can do it.
The only caveat maybe to the situation is if you look at someone like Vinicius, who, although is a stellar player at the moment, when he joined Real Madrid, it took him a while to get going. And Endrick, you could say it's taken him a while to get going, but he hasn't really been given the opportunity. So could we see a similar story of Estevao Williams, or could we maybe see him like where Neymar joined Barcelona and just hit the ground running straight away because he is simply that good?
I mean, I see your point, to be fair. It did take them both a while to sort of, well, I suppose Endrick is still getting the team. It did take Vinicius a while, but we have to remember that Real Madrid team was a fantastic team. Real Madrid have always had unbelievable teams. This Chelsea team isn't in dying need of help, but when we look at the attacking quality, bar Palmer, I think I don't see why he wouldn't be able to get into.
You
that
think
team
he could automatically
pretty much straight away.
be their second best forward the moment he turns up? Whereas Vinicius obviously wasn't that sort of caliber of player because, like you said, he's going to a bigger club in a more successful environment.
I think if you look at Madueke, I think maybe not now, but he's almost guaranteed to be better than him within moments, to be fair. And Sancho's inconsistent. Sometimes I see
Neto as well.
Neto as well, yeah. It's like, I mean, Neto's a great player, but again, injury prone. Sancho's a bit inconsistent. Sometimes I see he's great, sometimes I don't see he's great. And then Madueke, he's all right, but I don't think he's quite that man that's going to take Chelsea to the next level.
Like, this kid's a generational talent, whereas these players are just very good, young, talented footballers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and I think that's why I do think he'll slot straight into the team, and I don't see why he wouldn't be, well, arguably the face of Chelsea behind Cole Palmer.
And who knows what he could achieve in his career, and obviously on the national stage as well, he could win Brazil their first World Cup in, 20-odd years? I think it was 2002 they last won it, so yeah.
I mean, he's already got in the Brazil squad, which says a lot, doesn't it? The fact that he's already in the squad says a lot, and I think him and Vinicius will be the two men that will be the pinnacle of Brazilian football in the years to come.
But to raise one final point, which I will separate into three, let's just hope for one, that Chelsea don't burn him out by playing him too much.
Yeah.
Two, that he doesn't pick up like an ACL injury that completely derails his career.
Yeah, that'd be awful.
And three, that he doesn't get impacted negatively by the English media if he has maybe a first 6 months at Chelsea that doesn't go to plan, you know?
Yeah, I agree, exactly. I mean, you look at Pedri, he's a great example of what happens when you overplay a player, because you look at his injury problems. But also I do think with Chelsea, it's a weird one where we see young players do flourish at the club, but we've also seen young players, go off the rails, and they went elsewhere and they succeed at another club. And I do think it's a case of, I know it sounds very obvious, but either Estevao will do really well at Chelsea, which is what I think will happen, or he'll do dreadful, because that just seems to be the way. And he'll just get offloaded somewhere else.
There won't be a middle ground. Well, Chelsea has such deep pockets that if Estevao Willian isn't performing, they can simply offload him for maybe 15-20 million
that is true.
and then go and buy the next best
talent.
Hurt him. No, whereas someone like maybe Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham, if he were to move to one of those Premier League teams, they give him the benefit of the doubt. They'll probably play him for a little longer before they really make a proper opinion on whether or not he's good enough to play for the club.
Yeah.